Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is me once again, screaming into the void of the internet. Just finished closing. You guys already know it's time to go ahead and talk about some crap. And boy, oh boy, do I have some crap to talk about. So, I'll have a little bit of something. I guess I'll just start off with like what you're seeing. Please understand this, folks. You white brothers, Asians, whatever you're listening to, especially like I said, Asians, to be real, because these suckers on some, let's just import to like get this birth rate up. Please understand this, guys. These ghettos, these niggas, these ratchets, they have earned the ire. We are exhausted of ratchets. We are exhausted of ghettos. There is a reason why everyone who's worth a goddamn, in the Blizzacs, the Nibba, the brothers, the community, whatever you want to call it. There's a reason why they all leave, as they, find out what it is they want to do with their life. And they realize that, in order for me to get what I want to get, I can't be around these people. Because my friend, for example, because this video is going to be all over the place a little bit for me. He told me just recently, he asked a girl out. And I said, hey, good for him. Because contrary to what people want to think, yeah, I may be like, some cold bastard when it comes down to romance and stuff like that, but I've never really held this idea that like, hey, listen, just because I'm not going to bother dating and stuff like that, that doesn't mean like you shouldn't bother dating. But asked him 2 questions right away. Said, 1, is she a coworker? And he said, no. I was like, all right, good. Because it's important for guys these days, if you're going to date, do not date coworkers. Do not risk your source of income over the idea of getting pussy. Don't ever do that, because it's too hard out here to get work. It's way too hard. So I said, all right, check number 1. Then I asked him a second question. And I don't care if you want to call me an Uncle Tom. I don't care if you want to call me Uncle Ruckus. Said, is she a sister? He says, hey, man, F no. And I was like, that's my boy. Good job. He said, blonde hair, blue eyes. I was like, yep, that's right. Because let me tell you something straight up, man. Going back to the topic of the nibbas, right? It's ridiculous. That's why I've always said, I don't feel bad when somebody's over here saying, oh, my black-owned business. Listen, I'm just going to tell you straight up. Again, offended by everything, barely contributes anything. You have to really, really think about what it is that these people actually try and contribute to anything, other than this obnoxious, cancerous, crime-appraising nonsense that they want to call, I guess, a culture. Because all they're really usually doing is appraising the fact that they're basically breeding criminals. Oh, he's gangbanging, he's getting chicks pregnant, wonderful. They writing songs about it, right? And yet if you call it out, especially if you're a part of their own, oh, you just hate your own. Yeah, I don't mind saying that. You may look like me, but all that we really share is the amount of melanin in it. We are not of the same cloth, my friend. Although I really shouldn't say friend. We're not of the same cloth, you and I. We're not. And you shouldn't be scared to admit that, guys. I made a recent video that's getting a bit more views than I expected, at least for me. Don't be afraid to be hateful. And a lot of people say, hey, hate destroys. And I say, kind of, if you let it consume you. But it also helps you understand that there are certain people, there are certain things that you should stay away from. For example, I don't have a heart to hate homeless people, but I do hate certain things that homeless people do. If you give up and you're just going to be homeless, that's your choice. But don't go out of your way to start making life hard for people who, I'm not going to say haven't given up or something like that, because like I said, there are a lot of things that could cause someone to go homeless, right? But if you're one of these people like basically taking dumps in front of stores and, you're rummaging through freaking dumpsters to the extent where it's like the trash is everywhere, and then the people that actually have to work there have to clean that up and stuff like that, and then they get in trouble. Yeah, that's the kind of freaking homeless person that I can't stand, because you're actively making people's lives harder. Just because you're homeless doesn't mean that you got to make other people's lives harder. You might be like, oh, well, I don't give a rat's arse because, whatever. But still, like, that's what I mean. It's a certain kind of way of thinking that you have to go about, at least in my opinion. But for me personally, I'm going to just say this, and I don't really give a rat's arse, dude. I am over the ratchets. I'm over the ghettos. I'm over the cunts. And I think you would do well to understand that, yeah, you should be over them as well. They, again, actively attack everything. They are offended by everything. They feel like they're supposed to be able to criticize everything. But the moment you criticize them or you say something like the N-word, oh, no, you can't say the N-word. That's racist. Meanwhile, they're over here talking up a storm about all this other nonsense, you know? Pisses me off. It really does. Sorry, my throat is freaking dry because it was like 90 degrees in that freaking kitchen, so I'm pretty freaking worn out. But continuing on, I find it very, very fascinating that when you actively call this stuff out, all that they do is try and harp on other cultures and then say that, oh, that was just where Blizzaks were. We was gangs and queens. Sure, whatever you say. I mean, I recently just found out about like a recent genocide that isn't even that old, you know, in history, for God's sakes, where, what was it called? Rwandan, some bullcrap, because I do not know the freaking dialect. It's African crap, so it was Rwanda, something like that. I don't know. I'll look into it again. But they recently were just hacking each other apart with machetes. This is recent. This is not like some freaking tribal crap. This is recent. But when you call this stuff out, you want to sit around here and go, oh, you're being racist, you're being an Uncle Tom. And I'm like, listen, guys, please, you white folks, don't ever apologize for this crap. Whenever you get customer service and you see a whole bunch of like freaking Blizzaks, trust me, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be bad. Give you a prime example. I just recently called a moving place to help me like with this move, even though I don't really have much to move. I'm talking about what's probably going to get moved and whatnot, and what I need moved. Before I can even finish the sentence, I'm like, oh, just, you know, usual stuff. Before I immediately, like, finish the next part of the sentence, he cuts me off and goes, oh, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to hide what you're hiding? Either you're moving a lot or you're not. So I play dumb arse with him. I say, okay, dumb arse, well, let's play this game. I have this thing called hampers. Are you aware what you put clothes in? I had to get specific. I'm surprised that his stupid arse didn't hang up on me. He's probably desperate for business. But it's like, yeah, it's just stuff like that. I promise you, if I would have called somebody and a white person would have answered, I would have gotten decent customer service. I'm not going to say that that happens every single time. A lot of people work and they just don't really give a rat's arse, but they can at least put on the front enough to get customer service. These cocksuckers work, and they have this stupid pride about them for no reason. There's no humility, because they don't teach it in the freaking culture, and if you have humility, they just say, oh, you must be a pussy boy and all kinds of crap. You're just a punk. Which is why I laugh. Listen, I do not care when I see these cocksuckers get gunned down by the freaking 5-0. I hate cops with all my passion. Don't get it twisted. But when I see these cocksuckers getting gunned down, I laugh my arse off, because listen, oh, that was another doctor, right? That was another engineer, right? Nope. That was another freaking scumbag ratchet cunt, and that's one less garbage that we got to deal with. See ya. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care if that's your son. I don't care if that's your daughter. If you're raising them to be a freaking ratchet, you're already effing up. And so I'm telling you, I find it very concerning. Very concerning that I'm seeing 2 unpleasant trends. I am seeing way too many countries that actually have their crap together in trying to respond to this birth rate bullcrap by importing these cocksuckers. And let this be known, when you import the third world, and yes, I'm going to say this straight up, even Blizzaks in America, they act like the third world. Yeah. They act like the third world. When you import those cocksuckers, you're going to have problems. I was looking at video footage right now of people that they imported from freaking Africa, I think. These cunts are in the middle of the roads flipping off drivers and stuff like that. They're like throwing the trash everywhere. And you know Japan is like a pretty freaking clean country and stuff like that. They're already effing it up. They're already effing it up. And they're doing it there. They're trying to import it in like certain European countries. I'm like, listen, no. Y'all need to shut that crap down right there. I'd rather you died out in peace than to freaking see those cocksuckers come along. And that's why another disturbing trend I'm going to talk about here, and maybe you guys are going to laugh at this, but I don't care. I think that this is very concerning. What is going on with this trend of cuckery? Specifically in the realm of Hugh Whiteman, you know, letting some freaking random Tyrone bang his wife. What the hell is going on with that? Like, listen, if you want to get cut, can you please get cut by someone and have the kid of someone that's probably useful? Go get cut by a freaking Asian guy. I don't care if he's like freaking 4'5" or some bullcrap. If he's probably got the intelligence, hopefully, just hopefully, I know intelligence isn't freaking inherited or something like that, but there's no denying that freaking Asians usually have a higher IQ. Can you please go get cut by like a freaking Asian guy? Somebody who's actually probably gonna at least on average be useful instead of some freaking room temp IQ mofo who's probably not even gonna accept, like, I guess, like, the freaking opportunity there and just go along to get along with the freaking Blizzaks and the Ratchets. Please don't. What is up with this? What is up with these cocksuckers allowing themselves to get cut by, like, ghetto Ratchet niggas? What is going on with that? That crap is insanely concerning to me. It's insanely concerning to me. And I know that this may seem like, you know, a bit of a rant because, yeah, it's irritating. I'm not going to sit around here and act like it's all fueled by, like, the bad customer service. It's just, like, I've been looking at some stuff, and it's kind of ridiculous. For example, I'll tell you something else that happened just today at work. I was listening to these chicks talking about, like, relationship stuff, and just, I kid you not, they just admitted to, like, having abandonment issues because of daddy. And listen, we all know that in general, like, dang near all chicks have, like, daddy issues because the freaking divorce courts have made it virtually impossible for you to be in the life of your children if you're a father. But listen, if you think it's bad with, like, you know, say, like, you know, just white chicks and stuff like that, just freaking imagine what it is like for the Ratchets, the hoochie mamas, the freaking sisters, getting pregnant by, like, the same hood rats and stuff like that, who will probably open say, hey, listen, I'll probably kill you one of these days. And, oh, my God, he's so sexy. That high gristophilia, oh, yeah. It's insanely prevalent in that culture. I'd argue it's the most prevalent. I think that all chicks in general have some kind of freaking attraction to, like, these dangerous guys because it's a primal thing. It's probably one of these things where it's like, it goes back to this idea where, hey, if he's willing to kill, then hopefully the idea is, in her mind, he's willing to kill for me so long as he gets some pussy, you know. But the fact of the matter is, are you not aware that he could easily just kill you? And if you had his kids, he could kill the kids too? That happens quite a lot. Or he gets them killed. So I don't really understand that. But, oh, yeah. In this freaking community, oh, yeah. They're all dating the same guys. And if you didn't know, these gals are burning like forest fires when it comes down to those Ratchets. Oh, my God. 50% have herpes. If y'all mofos want to swim in them freaking ebony folds, you better be wrapped up. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. You should be wrapped up in general if you're freaking swimming in folds, but oh my gosh. God have mercy if you are kissing on freaking ebonies, letting them suck you off raw. Oh my gosh, don't do it. I don't care how attractive she is. I don't care what her head game's like. I don't care if that was the tightest snatch in the world. Don't risk your freaking health over that bullcrap. Don't do that. Please don't. Please don't. Now, allow me to tell you guys something else. Kind of like a little bit of a work update, as well as a moving update. Like I mentioned with the whole, like, thing about the moving company, I have tried to schedule the date for, like, maybe, like, for this month, the 28th. However, in relation to work, these people have cut the hours. Like, I'm talking, I got like 30 hours less. And I'm trying to move. And I don't really want that to start, you know, affecting how bad, not bad, but how tough the move can be. Because I want to prove that I'm a good, you know, tenant. And that I pay my rent on time, I pay my bills on time. So I don't want that. And luckily, the mail manager is back, like I said the other day. But, you know, I mentioned it to him. And he said, hey, listen, I wouldn't want to lose you, bro, because you're reliable. And I was like, hey, listen, don't worry. I'm not going to, like, quit. I just probably at most just, like, try and get, like, a part-time in the day. Because all I've been getting is night shifts. So if I have to get, like, a part-time in the day, then yeah. But he said he's going to, like, talk to her. And I'm like, you see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't care what anyone says. And you can call me sexist, though. You want to be Listen, how is it that you're going to say that the store is not making enough money when this is, again, your words, busiest store in Jacksonville? Even if it lost, you know, say a couple thousand. Just a couple thousand. Alright? Because I can't disclose everything, but I'll just say it like this. On average, the store was making $80,000, and now she's saying that, oh, it's not making $80,000, and it's only being missed by like $3,000, $4,000. So is that really enough to, like, warrant cutting tons of people's hours to the extent that it's like, some people only got 2 shifts this whole month. Just 2 shifts. 2 shifts. how are they supposed to pay bills if they're living alone and stuff like that? They see what I mean? Like, guys, trust me, I've always said this. Again, I understand why you check out. I understand why you don't wage gauge and stuff like that. I myself just can't. I can't give up, because I'm telling you, especially like if I can really just move out of this house, and I am determined to, I just want the ability to just have peace, be away from all this drama and stuff like that. I don't need no girlfriend. I don't need no freaking wife. I just want to be at peace. I want to know that I'm going to have clothes and food and shelter, obviously. A few bit of luxuries. I like my phone. I like my freaking video games, even though I don't really have them yet. They're still my friend, But I would like that. And so for me, I keep fighting. I keep fighting for, just something as simple as that. But I understand why you guys haven't. Because look at that. Is that fair to you? The manager's obviously going to make sure she gets her hours. Everyone else, F them. That doesn't make any sense. But that's what they have the ability to do. And they do it all the time. So I'm going to just say this, right? If I do have to, maybe get another job, hopefully it can be, part-time in the daytime. Considering all I've been getting is night, I'll just stick with the night shifts. And that should be enough, because ideally, I'd be getting paid weekly at, I could probably get paid weekly at one of the jobs, and then what I'll try and do is I'll try and make sure that it's a job around here. I'll make sure it's a job around here. And even if it's just part-time, I can try and see if I can work every day, so it's still like this, and then that way, And I know it's probably gonna break my freaking body down even more than it's already breaking down sometimes with this wage cage, but I just have to, guys. It's not that I care about being successful. I do not want to live paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? I want to have enough to where I'm all right. I've never had the ability to say that I'm all right. I'm content. I may be in a storm, but I'm content. But I know that I'm not really all right. It's one of those kinds of scenarios. And I know that you guys can probably relate to that. Because, let's say that you're coping with, how effed up the world is, but it's you still want the ability to just be all right. Whatever it is that you feel is going to make you all right. Whether it's my friend, whether you're trying to get your hand into the dating scene, whether it's just you trying to just find a way to get out of that bed in the morning and find a way to just be happy to some extent. You just want to be all right. That's all we all want, man. That's all we all want. And it's often, I'm telling you, it's often always something. Because like I said, I told you guys, I felt that my curse was going to activate, Isn't it grand that the moment I'm about to move, my hours get cut basically damn near in half? Think. I'm telling you, some of us just have some really freaking gnarly luck. If my hours didn't get cut, I'd have more than enough. But seeing how they're going to get cut, and again, estimating how much it usually costs in terms of Uber and stuff like that, yeah, that would really put me on a rough spot. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be able to make it as a result, but it would be very rough. I don't have the luxury that chicks do. I don't just have some support circle. There aren't people that just want to help me because I spread my legs and I'm offering dick. I don't have that luxury. So, again, in typical fashion, as a male, you are usually valued on your disposability. You are usually valued for how much burden you're going to put on your back as a pack mule. And if I have to take up another wage cage, then, I just have to do what I have to do. But either way, like I said, I'm getting out of that freaking house. I do not want to be around freaking sisters anymore. I don't want to be around Rachets. And I'm sick of it. And I'm really hoping that when I get into this new place, when I get into this new base, it'll be alright, I'm hoping that all the people just mind their business. You don't have to get along in terms of talking and being friendly, but hopefully we can. Even if we can't, so long as they mind their space, I mind mine, we won't have problems, We won't have problems. Because it's tough out here, boys. We have to do what we have to do to get by. Now, I don't deny that, I would ideally prefer my own space. I would prefer if I could just, even if it wasn't a house, just an actual private room, something like that, but I don't have that. And I don't feel like paying $1,500 a month for just a one-bedroom apartment where the lease is going to start going up, because I've started living there a certain amount of time. I have no desire for that. So, yeah. But all in all, wrapping this up to a close as I get ready to call my ride, that's pretty much just what's been happening, try and keep you guys informed, because it's not just you guys, it's also me, you know. Because I'm trying to keep a hold on reality. I'm trying to keep hold of a lot of stuff. I won't deny that, yeah, it is a little bit tedious. It is a bit overwhelming at times. Heck, it might get a bit more overwhelming depending on what happens, because I think when I go home tonight, like, I'm gonna, like, in the morning, because I work in the evening again. In the morning, I think I'm just gonna start looking for jobs. I think I'm gonna start seeing if there's stuff around here. There's stores around here. I'm just gonna start calling around, seeing if I can get something, you know, just something, anything, because I can't allow myself to get screwed over when I'm so close to having my own space, you know. Because the last thing I'd want to do is start being behind on rent, and then, you know, like, that would just be a nightmare scenario, because then it's like the amount of money that I need for Ubers and stuff, like, it would just be bad. So ideally, what I could probably try and do is, like, get a job somewhere in the same plaza, so that ideally after the morning shift or whatever, you know, I just go and I just walk to this restaurant, and then that's that, you know. Maybe sweaty, I may be effed up, my feet may freaking be noodles, but I have to do what I have to do, you know. Just kind of is what it is. But I'll go ahead and end it here before, boys. Thank you for listening, you know. I know I talk about, like, crazy crap and whatnot, but thank you for listening, for real. And I know that you guys feel the same way. Listen, because like I said, I'm not scared to talk about stuff that makes people uncomfortable, you know. I'm not scared to do that. I don't think anyone should be, because there are certain groups that deserve criticism that haven't gotten criticism for a very long time. And we are just over it. I'm over Rachets, you know. I'm over tiny hat people. I'm over alphabet bastards. I'm over a lot of people. And you're slowly seeing a lot of instances where, like, these groups are finally, once upon a time where they, you know, were these kind of, like, taboo topics. Oh no, we're talking about them. We're letting you know what we really think of them. And that's good, because that's freedom of thought. Even if you don't like the thought, that's freedom of thought. But I digress. I'm gonna leave it here, folks. As usual, thank you guys for listening. God bless. Hang in there, boys. There is life beyond your pain. Please hang in there. I'll see you next time.